Hi guys, I'm going to review the video called What Does Professor Tim Spector Eat in a Day?
Hi there, I'm Tim Spector, Professor of Epidemiology and expert in gut health nutrition and co-founder of the company Zoe that brings you personalised nutrition. Now, I'm often asked, what do I eat? And so I thought I'd invite you into my home today to show you the range of things that I would eat on an average day. And let's start with breakfast. So let's go on to the most important drink of the day, and that is for me a black coffee made from good beans,
Good beans? What is that?
dry roasted, packed with polyphenols.
Polyphenols are acidic toxins.
And it turns out that the Zoe Predict studies have shown that coffee drinkers have really high levels of a beneficial microbe that we call Freddy. You can tell instantly if someone's a coffee drinker or not just by looking at the gut.
I've never heard of that, but whatever it means, it can't be anything good because coffee has actual antibiotics which will destroy the gut microbiome. And the way I can tell if somebody is a coffee drinker is by their eye bags, for example.
Microbes. So it's a great start regardless of whether you're going to have breakfast or not. And sometimes I don't.
It's not a good start for anything. You should never drink it.
But let's assume we're in one of those days where I'm going to have the full breakfast. So the first thing I'm going to get out is some full-fat yogurt. It can be Greek style. It doesn't really matter as long as it's good quality and it has no other ingredients in it.
Okay, yogurt would be alright, but this is plastic pasteurized garbage.
So no sugars, fruits, it's not low fat. And for me, the fat is important because I learned when I did my own Zoe scores that breakfast I was having, that's the sort of breakfast cereal stuff, even though it said healthy muesli on the packet, was giving really
There's no such thing as healthy muesli.
big bad glucose scores. So for me, starting off with a fatty breakfast means I have a better metabolism, I'm less hungry later in the day. And then the
Yeah, that is good advice, essentially.
other ingredient is kefir, or kefir, which is fermented milk for those who don't know, and generally it's from cows, but you can also get it from goats.
This is all pretty alright compared to what most people eat, but is it made from raw milk? The yogurt probably not, just because the way you make yogurt, to get the consistency, you usually need to apply heat, almost always. The kefir you could make from raw milk, but does he even get it?
Oats, and this has about 5 times the number of live microbes as yogurt. And I often make my own kefir.
Not if it's
Which is very
pasteurized.
easy to do and means you don't have to spend large amounts of money on fancy stuff. Next, yet more fat and protein actually, with some mixed nuts and seeds. Don't believe all those people that tell you only have these.
It looks completely dry. How can you say more fat than protein? For one thing, it has oils, which is why, of course, it doesn't look fatty, it looks dry. You will, of course, also not get much protein or amino acids from the nuts, simply because of their biological value, which everybody should look into if they eat any kind of plant foods for protein.
Super brands like chia seeds and ones that cost a fortune. Any real mix is good. They're all fantastic source, not only of polyphenols, but also of fiber. To finish it off.
Okay, toxins and fiber, which is indigestible. Why would you say that it's a good source of something indigestible, which is very bad for humans? I don't get it. Why do you promote it?
We're going to go for some berries. People often don't know this, but things like raspberries
How can people be so stupid and say that something is a good source of fiber?
have the highest fiber content of any plant. So plenty of blueberries,
Oh my God.
plenty of raspberries, and any other fruit you've got lying around. The greater the diversity, the better.
Oh my god.
Delicious.
Add kefir to your yogurt for more probiotics. Okay, yeah. People are just gonna buy some pasteurized garbage from the store anyway. Tell them to make it from raw milk, at least. His kefir is probably not made from raw milk, which is why he doesn't even mention it. Don't be fooled by brand names. Generic nuts and seeds are just as good. What? Okay, brand names I understand, but generic ones? That could mean that they are full of toxins, pesticides. For whatever plants you have in the fridge, the more diversity, the better.
And that's breakfast. Simple. And then we'll move on to lunch.
It's not a simple breakfast at all. A simple breakfast would be if you cook food, bacon and eggs, for example. That's simple. Of course, ideally, just drink a few raw eggs or eat some meat.
And I'm going to show you what my really simple lunch is that is 100% score for me.
Did he say simple? Because I see 1,200 ingredients right there.
On my Zoe profile. And this is one that's really good for my metabolism and is also boosting my microbes. And it involves our friends, the avocado. Full of fat, full of calories.
Alright, obviously he talks a lot about the gut microbiome and probiotics. What you eat are prebiotics. If you want probiotics, then you need to eat fermented animal foods, such as fermented eggs, meat, the dairy, okay, if it's raw. But the actual meat is really where it's at. Fermented organs. Obviously, the main one would be intestines.
And we're going to be putting them on some sourdough rye bread. And while we're talking about bread, I should just remind you that the lunch I always used to have, particularly working as a busy doctor in a hospital for at least 10 years, was what I thought was healthy. I think I've got it somewhere here. This is my go-to lunch in the hospital. So a bit of tuna and sweet corn, factory bread with some orange juice and
Well, it doesn't matter if it's factory bread. Yeah, it's a little bit worse, but at the end of the day, again, you just have fiber, which you like, I suppose, and carbs, which are sugar. Fiber and sugar with no micronutrients. Why would anybody on earth eat bread? It's really one of the worst things you can consume. It's completely going to destroy your health.
I used to have a packet of potatoes.
Besides that, grains stick to the walls of your intestines, and if you consume them for decades, which most people do nowadays, in the West anyway, and in the East they consume other grains, they will stick to the intestine walls and not let you absorb any nutrients.
Chips as well. And I've discovered that really was dreadful for my blood sugar levels. I thought it was healthy, I was completely wrong. So they're rubbish. Let's go to what is a really good healthy meal. So we take an avocado and...
That's a thick slice of bread, man.
I will put it on the bread, but with some olive oil. And of course, not just any olive oil. We're talking about extra virgin olive oil. And that's because that's the only one that has really high polyphenol scores. So we can be liberal with this. Don't worry about...
Oh my god, that's disgusting.
The calories. If it's high quality, it's going to be really good for you.
What is good about extracted unnatural plant oils? Polyphenols, the toxins. That's it?
Yeah, actually.
Ugh. Ugh. Oh man, I can't imagine having oil on your hands and then on your fingers and then licking it. That's disgusting. Ugh, just plant oils. I would throw up.
We're going to get some paprika. We're going to add a few tomatoes because
tomatoes, lovely.
Boosters for me.
It's a lovely British meal, isn't it?
Sometimes, not every time, I'll be honest, I will add some sauerkraut. This is fermented cabbage, and
again, it's prebiotics, but you probably don't get it. Overall, it's a horrible meal. There's nothing at all healthy about avocado.
Then, the final piece of the puzzle, if you've got them to hand, you can just whack on some beans. Beans are a fantastic source of everything from protein to fiber.
This is his simple meal?
To polyphenols.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up with the fiber and polyphenols. We already get it. You're brain dead.
Sprinkle them on. Let's have a few more. So that is lunch done, which is designed to...
One of the worst things I've ever seen in my whole life.
Optimize my microbiome.
In general.
And hopefully taste great.
No way. Let's read the tips. Extra virgin oils, phenols, blah, blah. Yeah, sure. What? That makes no sense. Make sure so goes. Oh, okay. Okay, that is good, but polyphenols act in a similar way as the vinegar, but the vinegar he doesn't recommend. When in doubt, add beans. When in doubt, add beans. What does that even mean?
That's great.
Stop lying.
This suits me and is the perfect setup for dinner.
Dinner?
So now we're going to dinner. And my general theory for dinner is plant-based,
Of course, plant-based,
spicy,
innit?
and simple. Something doesn't take too
Spicy.
long. So the first thing I do is I look in the fridge and see what I've got lying around. And we've actually got some leftovers from last night, which I've put together and I'm going to show you. But basically they are consistent of a base of cauliflower.
Another simple meal.
Fantastically nutritious vegetables, not used as much as we should. You fry everything up first with onions. Red onions are probably the best for polyphenols. And of course, what's really important is getting lots of spices in here. And we've got
basically all spices are antibiotics. You don't know what you're talking about.
turmeric, coriander, mustard seeds, cumin, garam masala, and randomized controlled studies have shown that if you just add some spices to your food every day, your gut microbe is actually healthier. So it's a really good tip to get
That makes no sense.
and start adding them to your food. Basically, I fried up the red onions and then I added the spices to that, making sure it was nice and
Onions, more antibiotics.
Added in the cauliflower, which had been baked for 20 minutes in the oven, then mixed some kefir. And this is the probiotic stuff, but without boiling it, making sure it's just kept warm so you don't kill those microbes. You stir it all together, and then, just having reheated it, just to freshen it up a bit, I'm going to add in some more coriander. And so we've got in this lots of different plants, with about 10 different plants in this mixture.
I don't understand how this guy can talk about a healthy gut microbiome and then use all of these plants which act as antibiotics. It really makes no sense at all. This is one of the worst things you can possibly do if you want to repair your gut from any kind of damage, and in general.
Which are going to boost my gut microbes, help my fiber,
how?
Probiotics, and it's a fabulous meal. And just by heating it up, you often get more of the taste of those spices the next day. So let's just see. So you've now seen what I eat on an average day, and I don't eat like this
You eat way too little. You look weak.
every day. It varies, and I think you should also vary too. And what goes for me doesn't always mean you should be eating the same thing. But I want to leave you with...
That makes no sense. There's only natural food that humans should eat. If it's something else, then it's not natural anymore, which this isn't, obviously, which is why he says that maybe you should eat something else. He's just eating a man-made diet.
4 key tips that I think work for nearly everybody. And they are, number 1, try and eat 30 plants a week. And that includes these herbs and spices and things that we've seen that you might not have thought about. It's not that hard.
I would never recommend eating plants. If any, then you should eat fruit if you want carbohydrates, maybe a little bit of minerals, that's about it. There's not much more use to it. But plants in general, vegetables, seeds, very toxic to humans.
Second is to have some fermented foods every day. And we're talking about the yogurts, the kefirs, the 4Ks that we discussed, the kombucha, the kefir, the kraut, etc. Third is try and pick your...
Why is he so against animal foods? Basically all that he consumes is dairy. Where is everything else? Where are the actual probiotics? This is such misinformation for anybody who wants to heal their gut.
Plants that are high in colour and taste and astringency, bitterness. All the ones you see here are fantastic.
Bitterness? Bitter means toxic. I can't believe this video.
Fantastic for that, because that means they're really high in polyphenols, good for your gut microbes. And the
Yeah.
fourth and final one is try and cut out as much as you can ultra-processed foods which are bad for your microbes. Thanks for listening. I'd be really interested in your comments on what you think of my diet and how maybe you think I should improve it and your alternatives. Do subscribe.
Absolutely horrible recommendations. It really doesn't get much worse than this. It's basically exactly what you should not do if you want to heal your gut. He was telling you to consume tons of artificial antibiotics, also natural ones, so to speak, which are the actual toxins in the plants. Basically, all of the plants in this video were man-made anyway, which means that you would never find them in nature. And it also, of course, means that you shouldn't consume them, which is why they are high in these toxins. Maybe lower than the wild versions. If you would eat wild onions, enough of them, you could die right there on the spot. Of course, the cultivated ones still have toxins but lower amounts, which is why you can consume all of this and slowly destroy your health overall, and of course, for sure, your gut also. It's also worth mentioning that plants don't have over 15 micronutrients, which may not impact your gut so much, but it is important for your overall health. And he is promoting a very plant-based diet, except for the dairy, which was probably pasteurized, and that means that the animal nutrients will not be in there anyway. Overall, a very terrible and dangerous video. You will most definitely not heal your gut by doing that. You will destroy it. You should eat only or at least mostly animal foods if you want to heal it. Thanks for watching.